The rain came down 12 inches or more per hour. Within 45 minutes, the Guadalupe River, and many people watching or listening know that they have, maybe in the past, when they were younger, or taking their kids or grandkids down, you've tubed down the Guadalupe. That river rose 26 feet in 45 minutes. It was a dry bed. It had been dry. There wasn't a lot to absorb it. It went down the rocks, and it was a destructive flood, taking property and, sadly, lives. I know that there are anxious parents watching, wanting information. We have the best rescue teams and response teams in the world in emergencies. Currently, we have 14 helicopters in the air. I've been receiving calls on my personal cell from people who know someone or have someone that was in one of these summer camps. We do not need anyone showing up with a drone. We do not need any more personal helicopters. I know it's been offered. We do not need more additional air assets. We have 14 choppers in the air. It gets dangerous even with that many flying. So I know some of you have said, oh, we can be there, we can help. We do not need any more helicopters or drones flying in the area. We have 14 choppers, as I said, 12 drones, 9 rescue teams, swimmers in the water, rescuing adults and children out of trees. We have 400 to 500 people on the ground from all of our various units, and Freeman Martin, our director of DPS, can talk about the various units who are there. For the parents who are waiting, particularly that had children in Camp Mystic. Camp Mystic is a camp that has over 750 kids. Right now, there are 20-some that aren't accounted for. That does not mean they've been lost. They could be in a tree. They could be out of communication. We're praying for all of those missing to be found alive. We're doing everything we can to get in there. We have the game wardens. You were the colonel of the game wardens, Pete, walking in by foot, driving, dropping in the water, whatever we can do to find everyone we can. That camp is divided into 2 banks. For those of you, parents who have children at Camp Mystic, this is a notice they sent out. They know all of the names of the parents, all the email addresses, all the phone calls, all the cell numbers so they can make the calls. Their following message: we have sustained catastrophic level of flooding. We have no power, water, or Wi-Fi. All Cypress Lake campers are accounted for. So if your child was in Cypress Lake, that camp is divided into certain areas. All Cypress Lake campers are accounted for. All campers on Senior Hill are accounted for. If your daughter is not accounted for, you have been notified from the camp. If you have not been personally contacted, then your daughter has been accounted for. I want to repeat that. And this is not from the state, not from the government. This is from the camp director on the ground. If you have not been personally contacted, then your daughter is accounted for. Instead of telling 700 or 800 parents your daughter is accounted for, they're calling those parents with the news that their daughter is not accounted for yet. They're working with the search and rescue with the state, obviously, and I know I've had parents. I have 8 grandchildren. I know if it was one of my children, I would be tempted to want to drive there from Houston as well. But we're asking people to stay away from the areas. There's flooding in many roads are impassable, major roads, minor roads. And once we're able to get some of those roads clear, when the rain stops, then we have 10 buses ready to go in and pick up the kids, and we'll find a point and announce it at that time where you can be reunited with your child and hug them hard. because you know they're frightened. But again, out of the over 700, we have the number of about 23 not accounted for. Yesterday, Jay Hall, who is Region Director 6, personally contacted the judges and the mayors in that area and notified them all of potential flooding. This storm, we had an area bracketed from San Angelo to Waco, down to San Antonio, Kerrville, all the areas. Not exactly sure where it would land. Some forecasts started coming together late, showing where it might land. But yesterday morning, the message was sent. It is up to the local counties and mayors under the law to evacuate if they feel a need. But that information was passed along because we were unsure of where the storm might land. Nim Kid, who is on the ground there, I'm heading to Kerrville after this, and I will join out there at the emergency center. We started moving assets in various areas, not knowing where it would be, but in various areas on Friday, so that in the event, wherever the storm hit and wherever the flooding occurred, if it was flooding, that we would be on the ground as close as we could be, as fast as we could be. This is an area that has lots of camps, thousands of children throughout those camps, especially in the summertime on the 4th of July weekend. The main area that we have heard from so far is the Camp Mystic area. We have not had reports from other camps at this point of a loss, but that does not mean there has not been. We just have not had any report. There have been confirmed deaths. That number changes, and the one thing I've learned in this position over many disasters that Governor Abbott or I have had to cover, the first news is always not the correct news. And you always pray for it being better. But I'm not going to give exact numbers, but we don't have exact numbers. But somewhere between 6 and 10 bodies have been found, some in cars that were washed down upstream that came down into the area. Some are adults, some are children. Again, we don't know where those bodies came from, and was it from a camp? Or was it from one of the many homes that are all along the Guadalupe River? We just obviously don't know that at this time. I want to turn it over to our Director, Freeman Martin, to talk about our response from DPS and the other agencies.
Governor, thank you. This is it's a tragic event. It's going to be a mass casualty event. We know that. We prepared. We moved resources into the area. This is a Texas response. This is not DPS. This is the Texas Military Department, Texas Department of Public Management. We have Parks and Wildlife. We have every local agency in the area. We're working hand in hand with the Kerr County Sheriff, the San Antonio Police Department, really the San Antonio region. There were many, many cities and law enforcement agencies and first responders self-deployed. So we have plenty of resources on the ground. Lieutenant Governor mentioned over 500 boots on the ground. Texas DPS alone, we have over 100 troopers, agents, and rangers on the ground. We have 7 helicopters. We're supported by 5 TMD helicopters and 2 Parks and Wildlife helicopters. We have planned for shifts. We're going to work throughout the night. So when we started this at 4 o'clock in the morning, we've been working this all day. We've got a B shift and a C shift that are going to come in and relief, so there won't be a gap in the search and rescue operations. But the governor said it accurately, is there's too many unknowns, and there's information that sometimes it sounds conflicting. You have a report that there's 20 people missing from one camp, and then you have a report that everybody's accounted for. Well, there's 2 camps that are split with the same name. So we don't want to get in front of that. It's taken some time to get in there with all the resources we have. As bad as the storm was this morning, our helicopters had a hard time getting in. And so a lot of people that were cut off, they were counted as missing. They don't have self-service or electricity, but they're on high ground and they're safe. So we have gotten to several of these where there's as many as 200 in one location. We're able to bring in food and water and supplies to them. It's just taking time to get them out of there. At the same time, there's other camps where we know their people are missing, and there's search and rescue operations going on. Parks and Wildlife using their boat teams, some of our tactical marine assets. They go as far as they can go, and then they go on foot the rest of the way. So it's not easy, but we're making progress and hope to have better numbers later this afternoon. As the Lieutenant Governor said, we'll be on the ground here shortly with our first responders there in Kerrville. I know there's reunification centers stood up, one in Ingram at the elementary school, at 125 West Brave Run in Ingram. There's another one at the Arcadia Live Center on Walter Street in Kerrville. And then there's media staging at the Hill Country Youth Event Center in Kerrville, where there'll be a media press event later on. A couple of things. Lieutenant Governor said we don't need any more first responders. We don't need anybody to self-deploy. We don't need any more drones or helicopters. We don't need people just showing up. This is a very coordinated response. Stay away from the area. If you can, stay home with your families. That's the right thing to do, to stay out of this area. There's working with TxDOT. We know there's over 85 locations that have been impacted by high water, and at least 25 roads shut down. Right now, the rain has let up, but we know there's another wave coming, and then there's going to be some more impact downstream later tonight and tomorrow that we're concerned about. So we'll continue to work with locals. We're also doing rescue operations and evacuation operations in Tom Green County and Kimball County. We're concerned about San Saba downriver, so there will be more notifications coming out. If you're asked to evacuate, please evacuate. If you are on a roadway and you see water, you have no idea how deep that water is or how swift it is. Stop, turn around. Do not try to cross water if you don't know, you can't tell how deep it is. But the best advice is stay home. And I know y'all want numbers. I wish we had numbers. Those numbers change frequently. Like I said, some people are reporting as missing, and they're not missing. They were evacuated. They're safe. They just didn't. No family member is concerned not knowing where they are. So, with that, Governor, I'll turn it back over to you.
I do want to mention before I turn it over to Pete that I was in touch with the governor early this morning with Senator Ted Cruz. We've been in touch. I've tried to reach out to the sheriff, or not tried, reached out to the sheriff and the county judge in Kerr County, and understandably they're busy, not answering their phone. They're getting a lot of calls from a lot of people, but that's why we're going down there. But we are in touch between our departments. We are in touch with them. We've had multiple calls from the White House today. I've talked to several people at the White House. The president has sent the message, whatever we need, we will have. We are sending in the Army Corps of Engineers. It's one of the requests we made to look at the dam at Canyon Lake to make sure that dam holds. I just had a meeting with them before I came out here. I said, is the dam safe? And they said, it is safe, sir. I said, safe tomorrow? It is safe, sir. I said, well, if anything changes on that, you call me on speed dial immediately. But right now, the Army Corps believes that dam will hold and is safe as we sit here today. We're also expecting more rain and potential flash flooding to the Waco area, San Antonio, Austin overnight. That would not be, that would be localized flooding where, as the director said, you don't want to be driving in deep water. We could have heavy rain in those areas. But even in the Kerrville area, even if it's not a heavy rain, just a few inches of rain is going to only make the situation worse. Let me turn it over to Senator Pete Flores, who represents that area, along with House Member Wes Verdell, who reached out to me earlier today. I know he's from Brady. I don't know if he's waterlocked or not, because some of those roads are cut off, but we appreciate him reaching out. Senator Flores.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for allowing me to be here, and thank you all for being here. And the first comment is prayers for our affected Texans, and to make sure that they come out of this event with their lives. And for the first responders that are out there, especially the local ones who were there first, we want to always recognize that they mostly voluntarily step up for their fellow citizens, and they're the first ones there and the last ones to leave. My role is to work with the governor and work with the state agencies to make sure that our affected areas get what they need, and thank God we are in Texas, because Texas is well prepared to do this. And my previous
All right. Folks, we are now headed out to Kerrville for another press conference. We just got some crucial information here, and we want to listen to some more.
Throughout all of Kerr County. As soon as we can confirm details, we will deliver them to you with transparency. We also want to be upfront that due to the rapidly changing nature of this situation, we will not be taking questions at the conclusion of this briefing. We are committed to keeping you informed, and we will provide the media with a time and location for the next scheduled press conference as soon as we're confirmed. At this time, I would like to invite Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha for an update.
Okay. Yeah, those of y'all, I'm the sheriff, Kerr County Sheriff Larry Letha. Want to tell you, appreciate y'all coming down here to cover this stuff. What I want you to know, we're not here to hide anything from the media. We'll keep y'all updated as much as we can, as fast as we can. But y'all got to understand, right now, the only concern we have is rescuing everybody and all these kids out here. What I can say, there's still several people unaccounted for right now at this point, but we're working really hard, and we're going to continue. This is probably going to be a couple of day process, okay? We don't know when it's going to stop raining, how much more, hopefully not much more. What I can tell you, at this time, currently, we have identified 13 fatalities. Okay, well, I'm sorry, we haven't identified, we have located 13. That's at this time. I think there'll be more when this is over and time to tell. We'll do our best job to keep you informed as we can. What I'd like to tell you about is our reunification centers. One of them is at Ingram Elementary. That address is 125 Brave Run West, Ingram, Texas. The other one is at the Arcadia Live, which is at 717 Water Street here in Kerrville. So one of the biggest questions we've had is where can we call, how do we get a hold, or how do we find our loved ones? What you'll do is you'll contact the Red Cross. The number is 1-800-733-2767. What I'm going to ask the public to do at this time, what we need is, we've got a lot of assets here from every agency. I actually really don't know what all. They keep coming in. My phone doesn't stop. We've got a lot of help out there. We'll be able to do the job. It's just going to take some time. But I ask everybody to shelter in place. Okay, if you can, that's what I'd like to get out. Please shelter in place. Well, we're working really hard. We don't have a number of how many missing. Obviously, we're working hard and around the clock to do that. So at this time, I'll turn it back over to PI Clintmore.
Thank you, Sheriff Letha. Now I'd like to welcome to the microphone Kerrville Mayor Joe Herring Jr.
Thank you for being here. Our job today is to give you information as soon and as quickly and as accurately as we can. I want to say another time, thank you to all the dedicated men and women from so many different agencies who are here to help. City crews, county crews, and state crews are working extremely hard to help in this situation. I want the public to know we are doing everything we can to rescue those who are in peril and to find those who are missing. Now I'd like to call on City Manager Dalton Rice.
Thank you, Mayor Herring. Dalton Rice, the City Manager for the City of Kerrville. I really want to appreciate and thank everybody for their patience. We know that there's a lot going on. We know that some of the times have changed. As I said before in the previous briefing, this situation has evolved very quickly, and it's still actively going on. So I want to kind of share a couple things. We have what we know, we have what we don't know, and we have what we don't know we don't know. And so we're continuously working through this process. Kind of just a real quick brief history of what happened on the timeline this morning. The North and South Fork, which feed into the Guadalupe, hit peaks about 3 a.m., give or take. Don't quote me on my times, but somewhere around 3:30, 3 a.m. I was on the river trail at that time, and everything was fine. Within an hour to hour and a half to 2 hour period, it was up almost to the bridge. So it rose very quickly, very significantly. We even had crews, out just getting ready for the 4th of July event, and we could not anticipate this. Despite flood warnings, despite everything going on, there were some things that happened very fast. When those two rivers converged, or two forks converged, it created obviously a large flood event. In that, because of the early morning hours and because of the holiday weekend or holiday time period, those were not yet awake, and there was a lot of people that were sleeping. And so as we are going through the camps, we are still trying to figure out where people are, what's going on, and how to best serve them. So again, thank you for your patience. I'm going to throw a lot of information out to you guys as far as shelters. We do have multiple shelters set up. Shriner University Event Center at 2100 Memorial Boulevard. First United Methodist Church at 321 Thompson Drive. Calvary Temple Church, 3000 Loop 534. Notre Dame Catholic Church, 929 Main Street. We also have a donation center located. You can call the Red Cross. They are not quite set up as far as donations yet. However, Cross Kingdom at 3044 Jet Highway, 830-367-3480 is taking donations, so please contact them if there's any donations out there. We are working on getting a volunteer set up, so we understand that a lot of people want to help, a lot of people want to provide their assets and their time, but please, bear with us while we get a number and get a volunteer coordinator set up, so if you want to help, give us some time. We are currently still actively rescuing, so we are not quite into recovery mode yet. We are still actively trying to find those that are out and those that are needing assistance. A couple utility updates. KPUB, Kerrville Public Utility Board, our electric co-op. We have about 2,800 customers that still remain without power. Damage assessments are ongoing. We are having obviously some still active flooding and some road closures that are impacting KPUB operations. We do have some other sites that are currently underwater still. So we do not have an estimated time for restoration. That will be delayed. Again, stay away from down power lines. If you think it's a line, just stay away from it. You can report outages 24/7 on the Smart Hub app, online at kpub.com, or 855-959-2496. We will be moving EOC about 1800 at some point. We also, as far as water, we did have a couple water main breaks that are being resolved. Some of the floods and flooding damage has caused some water main breaks. So we do have crews out there to identify those breaks as well. If you do not have to be on the road, please stay off the roads. Let emergency vehicles pass. We've had some issues with emergency vehicles not being able to get to their locations or to get to the places that they're trying to rescue people or save people. This will go into the evening. We plan on working around the clock. Our next operational period will start, and we'll continue to get information out to y'all in a timely manner. So without that, I'll turn it back over to Clyde. Thank you.